Seventh grade. It's Thursday, and it's time for our second story of the week. Well, it's not a new story, it's a continuation of the story. This is Mutation, Episode 2, An Unexpected Change. So let's see what goes on. In Episode 1, Emmy and TJ came across a purple rock outside a strange building, but when Emmy went to collect the rock, she was bitten by a mouse and began to grow fur on her face. Here we go. "I told you we should have stayed out of there," TJ said, bursting through the cabin door ahead of me. "Why couldn't you follow directions on the sign? All I wanted to do was stay here at the cabin and read my comic books, but no, you always do whatever you want, don't you, Emmy?" "This is not the time for 'I told you so,'" I shouted, staring in the bathroom mirror. "Look at me. My face is getting worse, and there's fur sprouting up everywhere." I looked down at my hands, appalled by what I saw, and then glared at TJ. "I'm growing whiskers and gross, creepy claws, and something's poking out on top of my head," I said, bending over to show him. "Wow, Emmy, you're growing ears, like big ears. This is like what happened to Peter Parker in my Spider-Man comic. Before Peter became Spider-Man, he was bit by a radioactive spider and infected with a toxic chemical that made him mutate into part spider and part superhuman. Maybe that's what's happening to you, Emmy, except you were bit by a mouse." Suddenly, TJ's comic book expertise wasn't just annoying, it was creeping me out. You mean I'm mutating into some superhuman mouse?" My brother shook his head and said frantically, "No, from the looks of things, I'd say you're completely transforming into an actual mouse." Again, I inspected my hands, rotating them to see that they were bony and thin, and turning pink. "I can't get Mom and Dad on the cell phone," TJ cried, bolting in circles around the cabin and waving the phone through the air over his head like some sort of deranged robot with a short circuit. "There's no service here," he croaked, and then he threw open the cabin door and yelled, "Help! Somebody help us!" When there was when there was predictably no answer, he shouted, "That's it. I'm going for the police or somewhere for help." I shook my mouse head vigorously and begged, "TJ, please don't leave me alone. I mean, just let me think of what to do for a minute, because this is all happening way too fast." I knew I had to stay calm, because losing control would scare TJ even more. And wait, what was that tickling me on my back? "Oh no," I moaned. "What is it now?" "I'm growing a tail. And also, my whole body's shrinking," I shouted as I turned and whipped my long pink tail at my brother. "Emmy, please tell me what to do. I'm so scared." I stared up at my brother. "TJ, we don't have much time. I know this is absolutely crazy, but we have to go back to that building in the woods. This mutation stuff must be somehow related to the mouse that bit me, so maybe there's a clue there, or someone who can help us." My brother got down on his hands and knees, his face contorted and wet from crying. "Oh, Emmy, what did you say? I can't even understand you anymore. All I hear are squeaks." If TJ couldn't understand me, how were we going to communicate? He took a deep, quivering breath, reached out his hand, and said, "Here, Emmy, climb on, and I'll lift you onto the table." My paws were weak and trembling as I crawled onto my brother's hand, but as he raised me to the table, I noticed the cell phone and quickly scampered over to it. I had an idea. Running my paw over the top of the phone, I located the notebook application, tapped it open, and spelled out my message about going back to the building. I also wrote that one squeak meant no, and two squeaks meant yes. My brother read the message and shook his head. "No way," he said. "I don't want to go back to the lab, because it's too dangerous, at least without Mom and Dad." I typed out another message. "You need to be brave, like your comic book superheroes, or you may have to live with a mutated mouse sister for the rest of your life." I could tell from my brother's petrified, ashen face that he agreed. "Climb onto my hand and I'll carry you in my shirt pocket, but I just hope whoever or whatever mutated creature we run into at Mither Laboratory doesn't turn me into a mouse too." All right, now here's our questions. Question 1. What is this episode mainly about? A. TJ reaches out his hand and tells Emmy to climb on so he can lift her onto the table. B. Emmy transforms into a mouse and she struggles to communicate with TJ. C. Emmy listens to TJ explain what happened to Peter Parker in the Spider-Man comic. D. TJ bolts around the cabin while he waves the cell phone over his head. Question 2. Read this sentence from the episode. I can't get Mom and Dad on the cell phone, TJ cried, bolting in circles around the cabin and waving the phone through the air over his head like some sort of deranged robot with a short circuit. Which is the closest antonym for the word deranged? So what is the opposite of deranged? A. Gigantic. B. Sensible. C. Modern. D. Intense. Question 3. Read this passage from the episode. My paws were weak and trembling as I crawled onto my brother's hand, but as he raised me to the table, I noticed the cell phone and quickly scampered over to it. I had an idea. Running my paw over the top of the phone, I located the notebook application, tapped it open, and spelled out my message about going back to the building. I also wrote that 1 squeak meant no, and 2 squeaks meant yes. This shows that Emmy is blank. A little competitive because she believes that she can think of a better plan than TJ. B, quite lighthearted because she thinks her phone idea will make TJ laugh and calm down. C, a bit impatient because she refuses to wait for TJ to explain his ideas for a plan. D, very clever because she finds a new and creative way to communicate with TJ. Last one, question 4. Think about the events below. Which event happened after Emmy notices that her hands are turning pink? After her hands turn pink. A. Emmy begs TJ not to leave her alone and says that she needs some time to think. B. TJ tells Emmy that this experience reminds him of when Peter Parker gets bitten by a spider. C. TJ reminds Emmy that all he wanted to do was stay in the cabin and read his comic books. D. Emmy tells TJ that she feels like there is something poking out of the top of her head. All right, so there you go. There's your 4 questions. Go ahead back into Schoology, take the quiz. Let me know if you have any questions, guys. Talk soon.